Hey there, welcome to saas.unbound podcast. I'm your host, Anna Dana, a head of growth at SaaS Group, a serial acquirer buying wonderful SaaS businesses to take them to the next level. And here I chat with inspiring founders and experts to get an inside scoop on how they made their business a success. And today with me is Josef, CEO and founder of Usesnap, the number one customer feedback software for growing SaaS companies, and of course now a member of SaaS Group family. So welcome to the show.
Hi, Anna. Thank you for having me today. I'm super excited to join your podcast today. As I said, I'm Joseph. I'm co-founder and CEO of Usersnap. Founded it back in 2013, and we Usersnap are a team of 15 people, distributed all over Europe, and part of the SaaS group since last September.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the family. So, first of all, I want to get to know, well, you a little bit. What's your background? How you got to build Usersnap. So, what was the inspiration behind it?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, as I said, Joseph, CEO, founder of Usersnap. What is Usersnap? Usersnap is a SaaS feedback platform. And our belief is we believe feedback-driven companies build the best product. But it's fair to say that's not exactly where we started. Usersnap was originally founded as pure visual bug tracker. So you can imagine, bug tracking tools like Jira and so on. And we were basically a connecting part. You just connected Usersnap to Jira and submit your bugs there. And how came I to this inspiration or to this idea was I was working on various web projects as a consulting and also as an engineer. So now you know that I have a tech background. And I experienced there the problem that it's super hard for people to tell the others where is the bug, where it occurred. And there the idea was, hey, let's just immediately capture the screenshot, add some technical information and send it to the bug reporting platform like Jira. And that was the original start of Usersnap. But as I said, we believe in feedback-driven companies. So that's what we also did. So we listened to our customers and they told us, hey, there's more than just submitting a bug. It's about general product feedback ideas and things where people want to help you to improve the product. That's where we then zoomed out a little bit and started to searching this as a bigger segment, a bigger market, a bigger space. And that's where we then turned Usersnap into the Usersnap feedback platform where we are right now.
That's fascinating. I actually knew, of course, that you have a tech background because you guys had like a very deep dive right away into SaaS Group because once we acquired you, you also had a chance to join us at our annual retreat. And all the stories I've heard there, I'll never share them, but
But it
your
was fun. It was fun, yeah.
technical background was definitely there. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Over the years, we always talk about like 0 to 1. What was your 0 to 1 journey, and what was the most challenging there and in finding your product market fit?
Yeah, I mean, as I already introduced, we started with this screenshot capability, but the also important ideas of the problem we're solving, we just make it super easy to collect feedback in all different kind of ways, and in the whole customer journey, in the whole digital customer journey. And why is this important? We know that providing feedback is not something people love to do. I mean sometimes, yes, but what you're taking from your users is some time, because in that time they spend it for you to provide feedback. So what's the easiest way to value this is just making it super easy, super simple, and not distracting. And that's what we really focused on, to just make this a super easy way that your users can give you feedback. And on the other hand, the problem what we're then solving is product managers just have the constant need of making good decision what to build next. And the feedback channel is, in my opinion, a really important one. So you have this qualitative aspect, and this gives you the superpower in addition to your data-driven decisions, because you have a lot of analytics tools in place, and a lot of data sources in your company. But adding this qualitative aspect makes it then easier and more confident for the product managers to just make this decision. What should be built? But yeah, and what is the most challenging part in this journey is too long didn't read, finding the right focus. The good thing about software is everywhere. So basically our product to providing feedback can be installed everywhere, in every digital product, in every vertical, different segments, personas, etc. So basically we can serve every kind of customer. But if you really want to make a good product, you should focus on one thing, at least at a time, to be very good there. And that's, for example, super hard if you have customers who really, really excited and love your product, but that you're not your main target group. So you have to tell them, sorry, thanks for your input, for your feedback, for your feature request, but we will not gonna build this, at least now, because it's not our direction. So to zoom out a little bit and phrase it maybe more philosophical, I could also say, if you try to make everyone happy, you probably end up making no one happy. And that's to bring back to this point is finding the right focus. You have to kind of make some segments unhappy, especially when you are building a product in a space where basically every company is your target company.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I think it's. I mean, I've interviewed a lot of founders of tools in the same space, and I think that's kind of like the most common answer there, because yeah, you're absolutely right. All the software is out there, and I mean, if anyone from LinkedIn is listening, please get Usersnap. Like my feedback experience and solving the bug experience was the worst. Absolutely. I mean, just do something about it. But
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, I
Let's
had
go
to
LinkedIn,
learn.
and that's in the end what you just said. LinkedIn, social media. We have airlines, we have banks, we have with SaaS companies, we have all this kind of different verticals. So
Right.
everyone should be our customer.
Yes, absolutely. But how, at the end, like, how did you narrow it down? How did you focus? How did you find your perfect customer, and who are you saying no to these days?
It was a quite intense journey to find this spot, but in the end it was multifaceted, I would say it. So we then decided that the product manager of software and SaaS companies are our main target group, because first reason, we are our own SaaS company. We know the product manager it's best, and I think when thinking very long about this topic, there we can provide the most value. For example, if you have a customer who has not only this digital product and also some sort of physical product, their need to have the best software is maybe not that big, because they also have the physical product, for example. And that's what we just see a lot in SaaS businesses and in pure software business, that they have the real need to making just a really, really, really amazing experience of the product. And that's what's then also lead us to focusing on the product manager of SaaS or software companies.
Right. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, nowadays, even though everyone says like it's easier than ever to just whip up a SaaS product, but then like the threshold with like what you can go with to the market, what you can show to your audience is just so much higher,
Yeah.
right? So, what did you go with to the market? Like, was it a complete solution? Did you have to like really make it work? Or was it some kind of MVP that still could validate the idea?
I think it was in between. I knew I built the prototype of Usersnap within a weekend. So this
Okay.
concept, yeah, we are creating a screenshot, adding some tag information and sending somewhere where people can watch it, was done within the weekend. But before we went out to the product, for me, it was still important that we have something very close to an MVP, because at least you have to deliver a value, because people just mean it can be super crap, and if no one hates it, it's still then is the right time to ship it. But I mean, as you said, it's super easy to start a SaaS or software company nowadays. I mean, you should make at least your basic homework. It must provide a value. I mean, if you're not providing a value, no one will say, "Oh, great, just give me 5 more months, and then we are loving this product." This will not gonna happen.
Okay.
So I would say it was closer to MVP rather than this quick hack on the weekend.
All right, interesting. Okay, so I guess we are going to focus a little bit more on the M&A and the whole acquisition process today a little bit. So, did you build Usersnap with an exit in mind?
That's a fair question. So I started using it, as I said, back in 2013. And right after the foundation, we got immediately a small seed funding from Speed Invest. It's an Austrian well-known fund. So basically, it was clear at that point in time that at a point later in time, we will exit the company and sell it to somewhere. So I think it was quite early the decision made, but also soon or just a little bit later. For me, it was important to build a running self-sustainable business rather than going the VC case by putting a lot of cash into the company and you know it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the VC case is also a very good one, has a lot of advantages, but also disadvantages. Everything comes with a price tag. So yeah, as said, for me it was important to have this self-sustainable business rather than this crazy skyrocketing VC case.
Okay, all right. But at first, you raised the money to, to win the market share, or to just, use it for development. Like, what was the thought behind that decision?
Yeah, to just really grasp something on the floor, because I mean, you need to have a basic working product. You do some initial marketing things. You just need to get the first customers. So also linked to this self-sustainable business case, it's important that someone pays for your product. And that's what we achieved with this first funding round, that we had paying customers for our product. And then it was kind of the way to being more and more self-sustainable. So it was,
Okay.
we were not from the first minute on profitable and able to survive in the wild. So that was done by the initial funding.
Okay. All right. So at what point did you decide, you started 2013, you sold 10 years later. At what point
Mm-hmm.
did you even start like really thinking about an exit? Was it with like the first potential acquirer approaching you, or did you think, okay, like maybe this is where I want to find a partner, or maybe even like sell to a strategic buyer for for a more rapid growth, or like how did that decision come to you?
I mean, the whole journey, I was open for, always open for discussions, and when someone approached us. Um, from a cash perspective, we never had the need to sell, or our investors pushed us to in that direction that we have to do that. So I think that are very good preconditions. Um, so it was more down the road. Then I decided at a certain point in time, hey, let's have a more active, proactive look around what potential strategic partners could do, to go a little bit the BizDev direction, and then have some conversations. I can remember that I had my first conversation with Dirk from our SaaS M&A team 3 years ago. So yeah, we built up some relationship, and yeah, we were staying in touch. So but as I said, it was never this kind of push. Okay, now we're doing this. But I think it was then 1.5 years ago or something. I can't recall it exactly. Where it's okay, let's move on with a more proactive approach, have a look around, and see what the market provides, what we can do. Always in mind that we don't have the urgent need to do it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the best situation for a company when you don't really have to sell, so you have the the
Mm.
power to go on with negotiations and to price the business correctly. Because I had also the conversation with Auntie, the founder of AdSearch, and they also
Hmm.
we approached them 2 years ago, like 2 years before the sale. So this processes really take time. So you really build the relationships. But what does it mean? What does it mean building the relationship? Like did you have to, or did you want to maybe meet with the company at the events that we do, or like did you have to send some kind of data, just keep the potential acquirers updated? Like what is the process of that relationship building?
I think it's the most important thing is just having calls. I mean, in times like these, you don't have to meet in person for every knowledge exchange. I think to just have these regular calls to see a little bit what, for example, from the potential acquirer side is changing. There are times where people only say, okay, we completely ignore EBIT. That's now different. And or time. So there are also factors from the acquirer perspective are changing. They are looking for different kind of companies and so on. So I think it's also important to have this bidirectional knowledge exchange. So calls are really important. Also, of course, sending data, because in the end, it comes down to what are your numbers, what are the facts, what's the facts, how your business is performing, because this and you can also summarize it always in a few slides, so you don't have to hide that much, because you can find it, especially in SaaS business, very fast. What are the underlying foundation of a business? And in the end, an acquisition is still a people business. So there are people buying your business, and you make a decision to whom are you selling you. So it's just having good conversations, also about random stuff is, I think, important. It's a relationship. It's really a relationship. It's not so. The technical part then comes later, of course, where we really say, okay, is this number completely correct? Is this precisely what you have talked? But beforehand, it's a people thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We just did a video with Dark, by the way, about that. And he's like, yeah, sometimes the perception is that I go on this first call with like a huge list of um, questions, which are all like quantitative and like give me all the metrics, give me all the data. But it's definitely not the case. So yeah,
Hmm.
thanks for clarifying that. And I already mentioned the pricing, right? Like how important it is for a founder to just have a healthy business and not being pushed into the sale, to also just price their business right, and have this price alignment with the acquirer. Because I mean, sure, of course, we talk about cultural alignment and value alignment, and this is all great and it sounds perfect. But of course, everyone is interested, like how much they're getting for their business, right? This is
Absolutely.
very logical thing to ask. And yeah, so how did you go about pricing Usersnap? I'm not asking for numbers or even multiples, but
I'm not
yeah.
allowed to do that, but by the way.
I know that. So yeah, did you look at some benchmarks? Did you look at like the trends on the market, similar size businesses being sold? Like, what did you do? How did you go about pricing?
Yeah, I think that's super important to go into this business conversations with a good self preparation. You have market multiples. There are, as I said, SaaS is a kind of very good. There are standardized metrics every SaaS business has, and you can just do some basic market research on where is your valuation going. I mean, there are factors like churn is very important. In general, MRR or ARR, lifetime value churn, and so on. So year-over-year growth. That are standardized numbers you can just quickly put into sheets, and you find a lot of knowledge on the internet, and all this knowledge will guide you very fast to ranges. So you're going well prepared into such discussions. Um, in the end, it's of course a little bit like a bazaar. You want to have the highest thing, the acquirer want to have the lowest thing, and then you're meeting somewhere. But the expectations one should have should be in a good range, or in a similar good range. So yeah, but important is being prepared for it. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. I think it's very important to just go with all the like difficult discussions up front. And I mean,
Mhm.
the price of the business can be a deal breaker, right? Like if you say I want to sell for 20 million and the acquirer says, I can only give you 5, well, then there you go. Like no one's wasting each other's time. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. I think this is super, super important, and I think this is also what was a very, very, very good experience with the SaaS group to answer this what I call elephant in the room questions right in the
yeah.
beginning.
Yeah. Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
that's so important.
All right. So since we started, on SaaS Group, with a little flattery, why SaaS Group? I mean, I know there's been
Mhm.
a few potential acquirers on your way, and I'm not only asking for flattery, but like just honestly, just like having seen a lot of acquirers and what they're talking about and what they're offering, and what
Mhm.
they value during the process. Like, why was it SaaS Group at the end?
Yeah. In the end, I called this question myself very often. That decision was an easy one. So, one could say it just felt then right, but why? As you said already, or as you talked a little bit about this elephant in the room questions, the normal or at least the experience I had with different conversations and biz dev with different companies, strategic buyers, private equity funds, and so on. So, but most of the time, the approach was to talk with biz dev, you talk a little bit with product, you talk a little bit with finance. It feels like small talking all the time. You share the basic data, but you spend quite some time, and no one wants to answer you the elephants in the room questions. And these are basically three simple one. What is the enterprise valuation? What is the deal structure? Means 100% acquisition, asset deal, share deal. Is it paid all cash? Is it shares, etc.? And what are the strings attached? So, meaning retention of founders, is there a holdback, earn out, nothing? Yeah, and that are basically those three questions. They have to be answered super fast in the process, and that's what I had immediately feeling with SaaS Group. So we were approached. I had this relationship with Dirk. We would then finally again approach it. Let's go further down the road, exchange some current numbers, and then what we get is this fact sheet where exactly these questions were answered, and you feel immediately, wow, this is exactly what we wanted, to have this super fast clarity. And you can just go with the fact sheet and very, very, very quick say, this is absolutely out of our range. This is close there. Should we negotiate? Should we talk about it? But this was it. And that made this really good feeling from the beginning on, because sometimes in other cases you have this kind of fishy feeling where they, okay, are we seriously talking here, or is it kind of chitty chatty? um, and then there comes the second part where I believe pushed this even further, other people involved. So the people at SaaS Group were from the beginning on super eye level discussions. They were immediately saying us, we're not merging you to any different product line or product suite. You exist further. And we just got the answers to our questions always super fast. And that matches, this gives you additional very good experience to say, okay, let's go further down the road. I mean, one could also say it was very good to have these other experiences, because then you know what a good experience is. When you just were approached by a SaaS group, maybe, and that's the only acquirer you talk to, maybe you feel differently. But that's what in the end turned out for me. So this is super important to not waste each other's time by just answering simply this I call it elephant in the room questions. Everyone wants to have answered it, and everyone knows it, and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right. I think the fact that like we're trying to make it the least disruptive for the business and just like you said, just get it out there right away and make sure, if it's a no, it's a no. Then you proceed, you
Yeah.
focus on your business, you grow it further, um, or we proceed, and then again we try to make it you make it as seamless for the business as possible, because for us it's also a great thing that you don't stop working on the product, because you know we wanted to operate, we wanted to grow. So once the due diligence started, what was the process like? How disruptive was it for you? How did your role change? And how is it changing since then?
Hmm. I mean, in the due diligence, the process was really super structured. In the beginning, to be honest, I thought it was kind of planned of 4 months that this thing will be done. I said, what should we do this 4 months? I mean, come on, it's a business. Let's come on with the contract and let's fill out some things. And of course, due diligence, have a look what we did maybe wrong. And the funny thing was there, it did precisely this 4 months. This is just the process, and we really need it basically every single day, because yet in the end, it's then you find out, okay, well, it's not so easy to give something kind of away or sell something which you built up for the last 10 years, and where every single decision basically you made with your co-founders, and in a good rational way, but okay, you have to talk about this and be precisely what's going on. So that was fun in the end. The due diligence, but went super smooth, as said. I mean, that's maybe the nature of SaaS Group is this very structured, as I said, sheet of paper you get in the beginning, where it clearly states what are the basic facts about your business, price, and so on. That's also with due diligence. So this is our process. What we're doing, we're checking these parts of your product and of your business, give you the reports, give you immediately feedback. Then we are creating a contract, and then it's very very standardized and very structured. So that was super great, because we had this kind of following this line, and we knew it. This will gonna happen in the end.
All right.
You asked them how my role changed,
Yeah.
basically after the acquisition.
Yeah. Like, did
Um,
it, I mean, at first, did it kind of, because you were still, very operationally involved. Uh, did it somehow disrupt your flows in the company? And yeah, and how did your role change since the acquisition?
in general, I wouldn't say that much. It still feels like we are fully independent product within this larger, safe organization. That's a thing. I mean, it's also clear, especially in the beginning, post-merge integration, you're getting administrative tasks, you're connecting to a new mothership, on multiple levels, from finance, reporting, and so on. But this is a phase in everyday's project. You also have projects where you say, okay, has a clear goal. This task just has to be done. On the other side, yeah, of course, you're doing different reporting. I had to report to myself and my investors back then. Now I have different reporting levels, but that's also structured and yeah, doable. I think the important thing why I say that my role hasn't changed that much is the basic goal what is outlined by SaaS Group as our mothership. It's basically being a profitable business, and the actual product innovation still should just happen in your small brand team. Although we're having an organization with more than 250 people, the whole SaaS Group we're still a small brand team. We can rely on the help from central teams, but we're still this kind of super fast speedboat, and can adopt and to changes to market things and so on. And the external goal is just being profitable, and that's, I think, a good setup to have not that changed that much, and still can it's a very good experience for me to being there right now. So I think that's really the really cool thing.
Okay,
It
perfect.
didn't change that much. I think it's really important to say that.
All right, makes sense. Okay, so was there anything that like surprised you during the due diligence? Because I know that there are so many stories that oh, we forgot about something, or we didn't know that we didn't have a contract with that freelancer, and he came back
Hmm.
claiming that, oh, this is my IP or something like that. So was there
Hmm.
anything?
Hmm.
Was there any skeleton in your closet at the time of
Yeah,
due
I
diligence?
mean, There were a few things. So we knew we were really good in tech, and that's what was then also proven. We just have a good, super solid tech product. And I was also pretty sure that we did these legal things in a quite good quality. But still, in the end, I found that did we really didn't have a perfect contract executed? Is that really the case? Or intellectual property assignment from most of the people were done, but not from myself. Things like that, where they, okay, really, didn't we? I mean, that's easy to solve. I just have to sign a document that I transfer the ownership. But things like that, where is it? I'm 100% sure we are having this correct in place, and they say, oh, we are having not, and that was quite fun sometimes. I'm really always focused on this one point because this is super important. But then in the end, a super small thing came up and say, oh, that's we have to solve. But I mean, the good thing is there was no really crazy failure finding in our journey. That's also quite impressive, I would say, because 10 years you do quite some things, and sometimes things happening, and then you're have to fix them, but no big surprise. And it was, as I said, quite structured, super in time. Also, I didn't believe that we need 4 months, but super in time, and that's cool. Yeah,
Okay, great job, Joseph.
thank
Congrats
you.
on the smooth deal. All right, let's talk about post-merger integration a little bit, right? Because you've been with us, I want to do the math, about 6 months,
Five, 6 months.
five,
Yeah.
5, 6 months, right? So I suppose you're somewhere like towards the end of the integration, or maybe, you finished
Absolutely.
it, you're all fully on board. So again, like sometimes you talk cultural value alignment, and then, well, you land on a totally different planet. So how did post merger integration go for you? Again, were there any surprises, and if you're completely honest, would you change anything?
Um, Maybe I answer the second question. Yes, I would change things, but that's a very normal thing. I mean, that's we as a SaaS group are also growing, and things processes from, let's say, 2 years ago, maybe not 100% the same or same effective if you do it now. So I would always change something, but in general, the the PMI tasks, so the most important things, kind of data connection, finance connection, um, bringing all the people feeling on board it from a value perspective and the belongings to the SaaS group was done super smooth. So that's I think so the crucial parts are done great. And I think you can, as I said, always improve on the process down the road. But I would say we are, let's say, 80%, 85, 90% on the whole post-merge integration done. It's also well known that the last 20% take maybe that 80% of the time, because you're waiting for something which still need to be confirmed and so on. But I really feel that we are close to the end of being fully integrated. So I don't have a big nervous feeling anymore if I going into sending up a reporting sheet. So that's no longer. I know what's going on.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so let's come back to the product a little bit. So, you guys have been growing, and I mean, I'm watching you, I'm watching, I'm watching you grow, and like seeing what you put out there, like the events that you're doing. It's really fascinating. So, what's next on the roadmap for Usersnap?
Yeah. I think um, there is one large topic approaching everyone is AI, but let's come to the point a little bit later. Um, we're currently to just adding more functionality and for this product managers, because I believe this problem space of them is still growing and still into different stages and areas. So I think a lot of things to do to make their life easier and faster. So in the whole collecting process, in the analyzing of feedback, and there comes already the AI part. So we added our first AI capabilities last year, and they were quite well adopted, but we still shipped it as kind of beta because we said, okay, this is, we have to constantly evolve on that. And that's, I think, what we all can be sure is, let's call it a little bit more zoomed out, the AI assistance in the product manager space will grow and grow and grow. So that's why also we will build features in that direction where we can support this problem space or the persona, the product manager there with valuable tools. We also have to be very careful in the AI spaces. People just think, let's add AI to that space because we need that as well. And I was always very against that approach, because for me, that brings me completely back to the beginning. We have to provide a minimum value, because otherwise just having a sneaky AI feature is maybe for April Fool's Day very, very, very neat and very nice, but not on the regular business. So that's what we were gonna do next to improve our AI capabilities, and building further functionality to really provide value to the product managers and make their lives easier.
Okay, that's great. And I mean, we at SaaS Group are working on building our own AI team. So I guess you'll get all the help you need. So that's really
Exactly.
exciting. That's great. Okay,
So
so
it just makes it faster very often.
right, yes, and AI. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it has to add value, not just the label, not just the headline that
Yeah.
we're AI powered, but it's also like so much of added cost. And I think that's why a lot of founders also shy away from it on like a larger scale. So yeah, I think there is a lot to
Yeah.
take into account before
Absolutely.
adopting it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I have a couple more questions for you, kind of the usuals here. And the first one is, so far for Usersnap, what has been the biggest win, the biggest failure?
What is failure? Just kidding.
I'm just like, what?
um,
I'm just like looking for a
no.
Dutch word and like, what?
No. Yeah, that's of course a very good question. I would say we're constantly failing. I think that's important. That's part of the game. If you're an entrepreneur, but you fail, you analyze, you adopt it to make it better, and yeah, it's a very, very, very natural thing. I think for Usersnap itself, it was a little bit the thing that we made this hard focus a little bit too late, in my opinion. So I think we should have this. We were a little bit more on the way to make all kind of customers happy, what we have. So I think it's better to do it the other way around, make one segment happy and then adopt and increase. So I think this was one failure, which is a little bit more present in my mind. A personal thing, what I think I learned a lot is, I think I listened a little bit to listen a little bit too little on my inner gut feeling. People tend to say listening on the gut feeling is a bad thing because gut is emotional and so on. But as an experienced founder, you get a very good sense of what is right and what is wrong. And I personally am a very structured and data-driven person. So if I'm building up my opinion on something, I think I have already a very solid data-driven foundation, and then my gut is only a kind of the good educated guess and last small piece in this puzzle here. So I think that's what can a lot of people do, is at a certain point in time just trust your gut feeling. It's a good decision, and because I sometimes learned it and later, okay, well, that I knew it, I just had to do it. That's what I would call and maybe not biggest, but failures happen down the road. The biggest win is for me clearly, I mean, we built a bootstrap company from scratch, from zero to a very, very good level, and I'm very proud of it, and also the whole team what they achieved. So for us, it was not this kind of clicks and product market fit was immediately there. Selling the product is super easy. So it was not an easy ride. I personally learned a ton of stuff in knowledge in the software and SaaS space. So and I think also our team learned a lot, and yeah, it was a really, really great win what we achieved there. I'm super proud of it. So yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, since you mentioned it, I just want to add one more question to the mix, because we also talked with a few founders about the fact that, first of all, if you're a founder, you're constantly learning. Like, if you want to evolve and if you want to grow the company, uh, one thing you have to do is learn. And, it can be marketing that you're learning when you're developing the first prototype, because you are going to have to sell it, or it is AI, even if you're not implementing it right away, but maybe you will use it later. And or at the same time, you have to learn things for the roles that you're going to hire for later, because
Yeah.
how are you going to assess what people are doing, right? So, what was the hardest thing for you to learn over this 10 years about Usersnap?
Um, it was and it is still marketing. It's in general, marketing. So as I said, tech background and so on. So I know all the pure principles of marketing. I learned it, but I it's great to have my co-founder Klaus on board, because he's great there and he's expert there. And I always have this feeling I really am having a hard time to make this my put this into my DNA. So but I'm constantly working towards this, and trying to put a little bit more marketing on my on myself. But that's what my DNA is not about. So but that's super hard when you fight a little bit against your own character. It feels like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and Klaus is great. I mean, we're going to have an AMA with Klaus about churn very soon, in about a month. So yeah, he's going to join us for one
You
of
can
these
really
too.
looking forward. He's a great guy.
All right. So the last question: could you share a hack um, about successfully getting your company acquired and then integrated, which is even more important, because I think a lot of people
Mhm.
are selling to strategic buyers thinking that strategic means very seamless integration, which is
Mhm.
often not the case. So is there a hack for you?
For the acquisition itself, when I take a look back, it feels kind of structured, puzzle part by puzzle part. So I think I wouldn't call it natural, but structured. And as soon as you say, okay, we're doing this, then let's talk to some strategic, some PEs, and so on. You know how this feels for the after the acquisition. Um, I have the feeling you need to have two important skills. It's communication, and being open to new things. I mean, as an entrepreneur, I think you should be aware that change is the only constant. But why being open to new different things is important. As you get acquired, and as you said, it doesn't matter if you're strategic or private equity or any other kind of fund buys you or acquirer buys you. It's important that you're landing somewhere new, and there are things are done differently, and that could be either right, wrong, or it just doesn't matter, but they are done differently. So you have to be open to adopt to those things, and some things maybe then work better for you, and some things maybe work not so good for you. But I think this is the one thing, to just be open to do this thing, to try these things out. And the other part is just communication, because you also have to be very open and honest about your concerns. If you're doing something, adopting to some new pattern, some new connection to new communication, and so on, you have to be at a certain point very honest and say, hey, I think this is not the good right case. How are we doing this? Let's do it how we did in the past. Suggested things, but communicate about this, because it's a little bit easy to say, yeah, let's just do everything what they say and ignore everything, and then in the end you say, I told you so, this is wrong. I mean, that's weak in the end. Yeah, just communicate down the road. Hey, this works really quite good. I'm really happy that we're doing this that way. Or this is not so good. We should adopt it. But not also be the completely opposite. Say, I don't want to change anything, and I'm absolutely hardliner. Everything should stick the same like it was before. I mean, then you should just not sell your company.
Right, absolutely. I think transparency is key here. I mean, um, yeah, again, talking with so many founders and our founders especially, everyone says, yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of things don't change, a lot of things stay, but some things change, and like you cannot expect another company just to operate the way you did, right? No matter how culturally aligned you are, some things are different, and you just have to accept it
Exactly.
because you're already there. So thank you for bringing
Exactly.
it up. Yeah. Okay. Well, Joseph, that's been great talking with you as always. Looking forward to May and hopefully seeing you at our founders event. But yeah, thanks so much for telling your story, and happy to do it again sometime.
Yeah, Anna, thanks. It was a pleasure talking to you. A very fun experience, and available anytime for you.
Awesome. Thank you, and take
Perfect.
care.
Great.